So this video is going to be really different. Oh, ouch, 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 ouch. And the reason why it's going to be really different is because, well, this. And this. Oh, that's going to hurt. I got hair on my arms. This is going to hurt. God, that hurts. There we go, it's off. Good. And this all happened because of this. So yeah, this was not how I was planning on spending this weekend. I had a whole bunch of plans for stuff to do, but I had a slip and fall at work, and I'll go into the details more once I get out of here. But I'm fine now. Crazy, crazy, crazy day. I'm Sean in Alaska. Welcome. So I had an issue at work the other day, and that's why I'm grunting and groaning and trying to get down here on the stairs. And this weekend was supposed to be, or trying to get down here on the couch, this weekend was supposed to be all about putting the chimney pipe in for the wood stove. But, you know, when you're doing anything by yourself, it can be dangerous. It can be really dangerous. And the crazy thing is that the injury that just put me in the hospital and had me there for all day Friday, all night Friday night, and then I got out today at 11 o'clock in the morning. It's Saturday. Had nothing to do with being off grid. It had everything to do with being at work. I slipped on water on the floor in the store. And when I slipped, one foot hit a patch of water, the other foot hit a patch of water. They went in different directions, and Sean was in the Olympics because he thought he was a gymnast and did the splits. And I pulled this muscle so bad, I mean, all the way up the left side of my butt cheek, that I couldn't stand on it. I went down. I tried to get back up. I couldn't get back up. I turned around and kind of crawled over to one of the cases in the store, put my hand on it and stood myself up, and it was so intense, the pain on here, that I couldn't feel my leg at all. And then one thing led to another. I got dizzy, started to pass out, got down on the floor, and me being the type of person that I am, I fight that kind of stuff at all times, and I don't know why. That's my nature, but I just aggravated it more and more and more to the point where I couldn't stop passing out. So an ambulance was called. They picked me up, took me to the hospital, did all kinds of stuff. They were concerned that, you know, at one point there was CPR involved in the ambulance. It was pretty serious. So then they were really concerned about what was going on with my heart, so they had me on heart monitors and everything else, and I got the whole sonogram for the heart, and I got x-rays for the heart and all that stuff. And the good news out of this is that everything heart-related is completely fine. And it was due to the massive incidences of me continually passing out that caused the issues that required the CPR. Scared the crap out of me, I'm not going to lie. Scared the crap out of my kids, scared the crap out of Brother Will, because I was coherent enough in the ER to tell him, here's my cell phone, call my brother Will, and then tell him to call my daughters and let them know what's going on. But that just goes to show you that when you're doing something by yourself, and that wasn't by myself, that was in a store full of people. You know, it was like 7 o'clock in the morning when it happened, so the store manager was there, you know, a bunch of people were there. And I posted on Facebook yesterday that, you know, I was in the hospital and everything else, the picture you guys just saw. And the number of people that reached out was just amazing to me, just incredible to me. But, you know, when you're doing something by yourself in the woods, like I have been with this project here, and I have neighbors around, man, if something happens, you're in trouble. Which is a great example of why I don't generally try to do anything from a ladder for an extended period of time, or on the roof, or, you know, scaffolding, that without having somebody just sitting in the yard. I mean, I was very lucky because the fire department and ambulance is literally right across the street from the store, and the hospital is literally a mile down the road from the store. So everything was right there. But man, out here I'm 16 miles, 17 miles away from that hospital. We do have a fire department out here, and I don't know if it's manned 24/7. I think it is. But if there's something going on where they had to pull that station, then they're going to have to drive all the way out here and get me if there's an issue, or anybody if there's an issue out here. So yeah, this video is not going to be as physical as the ones in the past because of this incident. I'm not working next week at all. And it's not because I kept passing out that I'm not working. It's because the muscle in this leg is a disaster right now. I mean, I pulled that hamstring worse than I think I've ever pulled a muscle in my body. I honestly thought that I either dislocated my leg or I had broken my hip, one of the two. It was trauma and pain like I've never felt in my life. And I've done some crazy stuff. I've broken this arm 3 times. I've broken that leg. I've broken all the fingers on this hand. I've broken and I've never felt pain like I felt with that right there because it went in a direction it was not supposed to go. So we're going to do a little bit of stuff on the inside of the house here. But I want to stress that, you know, when you, because I see a lot of posts on different off-grid groups that I'm parts of about how close are you to medical, how close are you need to make smart decisions. Obviously, I'm doing this by myself, but there's always somebody that I'm in contact with, and I'm in contact with my kids every single day, so they know if for whatever reason they didn't get a hold of Dad, or Dad didn't talk to them, or they didn't see a post from Dad on Facebook, or a laugh from Dad on Facebook that something's wrong, they need to call him. I can't stress enough how important it is to have some kind of a network together when you're trying to do this yourself. But for tonight, I'm going to avoid climbing up the stairs to sleep upstairs because I don't really want to deal with this ladder with this leg as screwed up as it is right now. And I'll just sleep down here on the futon. So I've got pillows and blankets and all that. At least for tonight, maybe 2 nights on it. I'm just going to lay around the house and do absolutely nothing for the rest of the day today. It's about, what time is it? It's coming up on 5 o'clock, so I'm probably just going to watch a bunch of TV right now. And then tomorrow I'm gonna lay around and be easy too, just to give that leg a chance to relax and do its own thing. Yeah, it was crazy. It was scary. It was stupid. It was a simple freaking accident, and I just boom. I mean, literally, this leg went this way, this leg went that way. You know, Sean went down. I knew that there was something wrong with my leg, that I did something severe to it, and I could not stop. I had to keep pushing myself and forcing myself. And in the process of doing that, I caused all the other issues that I had. But like I said, everything else is fine as far as that goes. Right now, though, I'm going to sit down and eat this sourdough toast. And then we'll get on to the rest of this week's video. So this is one day since I fed it yesterday afternoon. And as you can see, it's really churning along and feeding itself and fermenting. I'm going to take a whiff of it here and then go ahead and give it another feeding. I've been laying around this house all day long today. I went to bed last night. I think I fell asleep at like 6. And then I woke up this morning at 4 o'clock in the morning. Freaking crazy. So I had these on my Amazon wish list, and one of the viewers was kind enough to hook a brother up. Oh, nice. I didn't realize I had the metal bench knife. Very cool. So, metal bench knife, plastic bowl scraper. I have a ton of these. Mixer right here. This is probably for scoring. Yes, scoring, and it's got blades to go with it. Very cool. So I'm going to need that. I have this one with a plastic cover that I can insert over it. And then I have this one. I might save the bags on these as well. This is actually 2 more of, these are called bannetons, or proofing baskets, as we used to call them years ago. Back in the day when I was a baker for Safeway, which is a grocery store, and I've worked in bakeries, I own bakeries, but I worked for Safeway for a long time too. Safeway used to be a real bakery, where everything was made from scratch, and we actually had lines of bread that we used bannetons on, which were just incredible breads. They weren't naturally fermented though. I'll get you a shot of this starter and what it looks like right now. I'm trying to save this bag. I might be able to use it over the top of these. And when it comes to baking, this is not the type of baking that I grew up doing. That is good bag. Cool. Swice Banneton proofing boxes. I'll read the instructions on that, or proofing baskets. It's probably going to be the ones I use. I probably won't use this one right now. Todd was kind enough to pick me up some stuff, so I got picked me up a couple of bags of flour and then a bag of ice I needed for the ice chest because I'm not going to town till tomorrow and the ice is about wiped out. And then parchment paper. So, you know, because I need that to drop them into the big pots that I have down here. But this sourdough, and let me grab the phone and pull it out for you and show you, has more than doubled in size already, but it's not at full bloom yet. So we'll show you what we got here. It's more than doubled in size. Pull the lid off though, and it's still got a bit of a crown on the top. So since it's got the crown on the top, I know that means it's still got more to go. It hasn't flattened out yet. I don't know. We'll probably end up using this. Probably start this up first thing tomorrow. We'll see what happens. But I've been wanting to try to make sourdough again. Oh, and back to that whole conversation. The brush is for cleaning up the inside of the basket. I was a professional baker, but we didn't do anything with naturally leavened breads, which is what sourdough is. It's a naturally leavened bread. So this is a learning experience for me as well. And I'll share a couple of pictures here right now too that I had from my attempts to make this bread while in the trailer. And the first couple of times were absolute failures, but it was like the last loaf that I tried to do that actually came out pretty well. The only negative part is because the trailer was so cold, it was pretty difficult to get that bread to rise, to proof up. And so I was fighting that all the way. But yeah, we're gonna make some sourdough bread. And I'm limping pretty severely, but you know, I can move around, I can get around still. I'll be going to town tomorrow to drop off some paperwork for all the medical stuff. And basically, I've been getting up, walking around, moving around for 20 or 30 minutes, and then I'll kick back on the couch for a bit, then awake, then taking a nap, then awake, then taking a nap. Just because I want this to heal. I mean, like I said before, like pretty much from right here on my butt all the way down. It's like, ugh. And then, you know, like an old football groin pull too. Same thing, all at once. Ouch. All right, so I have officially mixed the first loaf of sourdough. Double check to make sure I got all the ingredients in there I needed. Flour, rye flour, the sour starter, salt, and water. So I've got it all in there. It's going to have to rest for probably about an hour. So it's 3:35. I'll call it at 4:30, 4:35. I'll go ahead and I'll start doing the first stretch and folds. I'm not going to show you guys every single step of this because I don't know if it's going to work. So until we figure it out, we'll make sure that it's working. I will show you what it looks like before it goes in the oven, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out of the oven as well. But I have to get myself much more organized, I'll tell you that right now, because half the tools that I need I don't have readily available. They're here somewhere. I just have to find them because it's a mess again in the kitchen. And then, you know, everything needs to be cleaned up. So while I'm waiting for that, I think I'll go ahead and clean up the kitchen a bit. I will say I'm not using bread flour. I'm using King Arthur unbleached all-purpose flour. You can use bread flour if you want. It's just going to make for a dense crumb, well, not even more dense crumb. It's going to make for a stiffer dough. So I would actually add more water to this if I was going to use that. But this is the one I was playing around with in the trailer. This is the recipe. And it called for all-purpose flour. So I want to keep that the same. You know, all things the same. The only difference now is going to be being in the cabin with a fresh live starter. So I'm going to get the other starter jar cleaned up. Then I'm going to rotate what's left into here, into my other jar, and then I'll give it a feeding tomorrow morning. I don't think I need to feed this again today. But basically I started with 75 grams of fed starter, and then I made 75 more grams on there, so that I ended up with 150 fed grams. That makes sense. And I can go smaller on this, but I'm going to keep it on the larger side, the starter that I have right now, for probably the next week or two, just to make sure that I have plenty on hand. And when I want to do double loaves, I can do it that way too. I posted that I had started the starter on the community page, and I had a bunch of great suggestions, even though I already knew what I was going to call the starter. When I asked the question, I was going to name it Fred, because I have this weird habit of naming all inanimate objects Fred. And it's alive, so, but the last dog that I had here in Alaska, his name was Fred. But somebody made a really good suggestion, and I forget who it was. I'd have to go back and look through it again. But my sourdough starter is called Aurora. Freaking awesome, because I posted the picture, I think, of the Aurora either right before the starter or right after the starter. But I think that's a cool name for a sourdough starter. So yeah, my sourdough starter's name is Aurora, and hopefully she will work awesome for me. I do have a digital scale. I've shown this before. Let's go ahead and turn that off right now. I scale everything into this bowl right on top, and all I did was scale the starter in there, scale the water in there, mix those two together, put the flour on top, put the rye flour on top of that, put the salt on there. That's the other thing I'm not really happy with, is the salt that I had. I couldn't find my sea salt that I had, so I'm going to have to dig through here and get this all cleaned up. But, and then mix it together. So yeah, like I said, we're going to wait for an hour, see what happens. If it ends up going in the garbage, it ends up going in the garbage. Gotta tell you, I promised a million people that I would slow down and take it easy this week, but I am not equipped to relax. I'm just not. There's too much stuff I would rather be doing. All right, so this French bread that I'm playing around with, everything's gone much slower than I expected it to, and I think a part of that is I might be pushing my sourdough starter. It's close, but it might not be all the way ready. And then the other thing is that I just keep it too cool in here. That's just me. I like it colder. So 60 degrees is always comfortable for me, but 60 degrees is not enough to make a dough want to rise as quickly as I would like it. So I started this yesterday. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon right now. I just turned the oven on to 450 degrees, and I don't think I've ever really had this oven up at 450 before. So I've got my pot, my big ceramic, or my big Lodge pot in there with the lid, so it'll come up to temperature at the same time. And then I've got my dough over here ready to go, and I got a piece of parchment paper cut up, and we'll see how this works out. But I'm kind of excited. I mean, it looks okay, but I'm hoping too that, you know, with the increase in the temperature, because the oven's on, and the oven does make it much warmer in the cabin, that I'll get the final kick that I need over here. And I guess I could probably take this and I might be able to just take it and rest it right here. As long as it doesn't get too warm. I can feel that heat coming off of there. No, I don't know if that's going to be a good idea. Let's see what I got. Okay, no idea if this is going to work or not. So the parchment paper, I'm going to dump this onto the parchment paper. Then pick the parchment paper up and put it in the pot, which is just about at full temperature right now. The dough feels like it's ready, but I don't know. We'll see. So let's just friggin' do this, right? Get it to the middle. There we go. I don't think we're going to get too fancy with this. I think instead I'll just put one cut on it. I don't know what it's going to do yet. We'll wait and get fancy at a later date. So razor knife, when you're putting a cut in here, you're just giving it a place for the gases to escape. I want to put a pretty decent cut in there. And now we will grab the pot out. I'll move the camera to show you what I'm doing here. I'm going to move the pot out and put it on the metal table so I don't burn anything. Should have thought about this beforehand, but I don't have enough pot holders to make this work. So we're going to cheat and use these towels so I don't burn the bejesus out of myself. These are a little on the damp side. My temperature of my oven right now is right around 450. It might be a little on the lower side, but probably about 430, but that's okay. So take the Lodge pan. It has been heating in the oven since I first started the oven. We got the parchment in there. We will put the lid back on, and I'm going to bake it for like 20 minutes. Maybe 25 minutes with the lid on, and that will provide the steam. Oh, that melted the top of that table. Nice. that will provide the steam that it needs on the inside to start the bloom in the crust. Melted the table nice. Let me get the timer set and then we're good to go. We'll see how this thing turns out. It could be a complete failure. I'm not lying. All right, first 25 minutes is over, and this is where I get the first sneak peek at whether or not it passed or failed. As I pull the lid off of this. And I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised when this loaf of bread comes out of the oven, because I'm going to tell you right now, I am blown away. Good Lord, that is amazing. Wow. Okay, so normally I would turn the temperature down right now. Maybe I'll go down to about 425, so I'll turn it down a little bit. It was 25 minutes on the first round. I'm going to go ahead and set my timer for another 20 minutes. Then we'll take a peek and see what we look like. But yeah, I'm shocked. This is mind blowing to me, and it smells so delicious when I opened it up. So when it's done, obviously I'll pull it out. I'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll get a picture of it. But I call this a complete and total success at this point. Complete and total. Total of, like I said, about 45 minutes of bake time here. Let's turn this off. I can probably do this. All right, let me bring the camera over here and give you the reveal of what it looks like. It's not big, but it's beautiful. I'm going to save this too. I might be able to use this a second time. But I got a nice bloom right there. A nice bloom. Look at that. Oh my gosh, it smells absolutely delicious. I need a rack too, an air rack. So it can dry on the rack and it keeps its crust. But listen. Oh, that sounds delicious. We're about to see whether or not I succeeded with the crumb. You ready? I did okay. It's not the greatest crumb I've ever seen, but I did okay. Nice. Doesn't matter though, because I'm eating it. I'm hungry. That is so good. I have so many plans for what I want to do with bread. Kalamata olive with maybe Asiago cheese in it. Parmesan and garlic. I might play around with jalapeno cheddar. But there's going to be so many different things I can do. And it's much better for you. It's much healthier for you too. Not to mention it tastes so good. I don't actually mind that little dark crust on the bottom. Alright, I'm going to eat this thing. You guys have a fantastic day.